Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in. I am just kind of getting things set up. Okay. All right. Hope everyone is having a wonderful day. I just wanted to get on YouTube and really just, kind of tell you guys a little bit about what's been going on and why you haven't seen any videos here lately. Well, so I have been out of the country, and I was out of the country for right at 7 weeks. And so I hadn't gotten on here to post a video and go live on my YouTube page. So if you're joining me for the first time and you do like this video after you listen to it for a while, please hit me a like at the end. When subscribes to me, it just helps my platform out even greater. And with that, it's one of those where I'm trying to get enough subscribers where I can do more with being a mental health influencer, and I can talk more openly and I can do more things. So subscribing to me is really, really important. I need to get my subscribers up. So if y'all see this video, please hit me a subscribe. Please like the video and share the video. And like I said, the more you do, it does help me. Now look, I just bought a new tripod with the light, and man, my eyeglasses are still glaring. Maybe I should raise it up. Y'all bear with me just for a minute because okay, maybe that, I don't know. I'm still learning. So anyways, let me get to what the topic is for today. The topic is channeling your anger, your frustrations, your anxiety from your past, your trauma, your childhood trauma, and seeing if, I have some tips that can help you guys, and I want to be able to share that with you. I'm just trying to get this. Oh, my little light just came off. Sorry. I'm going to end this and fix this real quick, and I'll come back. So I'm going to just take a pause. All right, y'all? Oh, wait. Maybe not. Maybe I don't have to end it. Okay. That'll be all right. Okay. Let me see. We're just going to do this together. Technology, yes. I tell you what, before on a lot of my other videos, I was using like different shades and brightness of lamps. And I got this tripod with the light. Y'all don't make me regret giving this thing a 5-star review. Okay, well, we're just going to do it like that. Okay, so anyways, I just wanted to come on here and share a little bit how you guys can channel your anger and frustrations and anxiety through different things that have helped me. So I'm just going to share you what has helped me. Let me just share a little bit about me. If you're joining me for the first time, okay, so it looks like I have about 200 people watching right now. So if you're joining me for the first time, please go into the chat and let me know where you're joining me from. I would love to hear how far, I guess, this video can reach. It's always really good. Now, y'all, I'm in Fort Worth, Texas, and most people that have been watching me, or you watch my TikToks, or you watch my Instagrams, or if you've seen videos on here, I'm a Texas girl, born and raised right here, and raised by, a single parent after the age of 10. So my parents fought, and they were real mean to one another. And a lot of that trauma triggered into my 20s. And I learned along the way that I needed professional help, and I was suffering from mental illness because of different traumas, different things that happened in my life. And so I share a lot of that with you guys, like on my bio videos and stuff like that. So you guys can definitely, go and watch those at some time. Now, look, I'm going to just apologize right off the bat because I ain't no editor. Okay. I don't have the money to pay for an editor. This is just as live can be. I don't tweak it. I don't filter it. I don't do nothing. I give you guys raw, live conversation, and I don't even edit it at the end. I just post it, So sometimes I ramble, and that's just part of my ADHD. And I figured out that I had ADHD when I was about 19 years old. And so when I do ramble, I apologize because, like I said, I am not no perfect actor, creator. I'm just an influencer that has 40 years of coping and maintaining my mental illness. Now, look, everybody has something that's happened in their past, whether it is, trauma with a capital T or trauma with a little t, or you got 50 little t's and maybe 2 capital T's. It doesn't matter, because this Southern girl right here, I have enough to be able to share my story, share what I feel that can work for anybody at any level of mental illness. Okay. The first key is recognizing, and I have several videos y'all can go watch at another time. I'm not going to get into it, but you can go watch some of my videos about awareness. Awareness is going to be the first step into getting help. Okay. And then talking to your friends and your family, telling them you need help. I do go into one of my videos. On one of my videos, it may have been my bio video, but I was a young girl, and I knew that something was wrong with my thought process, and I was struggling real bad, and I was very, very emotional. And whenever my mother left all of us, and it triggered a lot. And then my parents struggled so much with the fighting. And so I just remember that, I asked for help, and this is in the 80s, okay? And we were poor, and very much survival mode all the time, every day. And there were times where my parents didn't eat just so they could feed all of us kids. So saying all that, I am trying to let you guys know that I'm not saying I'm a psychologist, because I'm not a psychiatrist, but I do have enough information to help someone else. And so when I asked for help, and I was a young girl, my parents said, "Are you crazy? We can't afford to take you to a therapist. There's no way. We got to put food on the table." And, my parents my dad, he would say, "Well, you should just go to church and talk to the pastor, or talk to your youth pastor, or whatever." And that's okay if you're looking for spiritual guidance, but I don't recommend that you talk to a pastor of any sort, in any type of church, in any type of religion, about mental illness. They're not experts unless they have a psychology degree and they know what the signs are and what you're diagnosed with. Don't go to church to try to get help. There are so many resources, and I am one that is trying to grow more resources. I want more resources in all the counties in this country. This country was built on dreams and motivating people to make life easier and better, especially for children. And I know as a child who suffered from mental illness and how it carried on into my 20s, and I didn't get a hold of that true therapy, the therapy and the recognizing of what's really wrong with my brain, and why do I think this way? Why am I programmed this way? I needed answers, and I didn't get that true therapy until I was 30 years old, when I had good insurance and I was able to pay, for behavioral health. And, and even at that, my insurance company only paid a portion, and then I paid the rest. I was financially doing good at that moment, and so I was able to do therapy. Now, I do therapy as needed today, being 45 years old. So 15 years later, I do therapy as needed. I lost, and if you guys, like I said, if you want to know more specifically about my story, you can go watch some of the other videos, especially my bio video. But I lost 3 parents in the last 2 years. So it's 2023 right now, July of 2023. I lost 3 parents. Okay. I lost my daddy first, who raised me. I lost my mom, who I struggled with having a normal relationship with. And she was scattered in and out of my life for years. And then she decided, every time she popped back in, it'd only be a temporary fix. And then, she would just, leave. And I, was traumatized by that, by my mom abandoning me. And it led me to make bad decisions and poor decisions in my 20s. And then even being a mother myself, I've made mistakes in motherhood and being a mother because I didn't have the best role models. So when I did find therapy in my, when I turned 30, I had just turned 30. And when I finally started going to therapy, I was going to therapy about 3 times a week, but it was so worth it. And I'll tell you why therapy is worth it, because you need a balance of medications that will help with the chemical science, the chemical imbalance in your brain, but you also need to be able to talk about it, especially if you have a personality that you're closed off, or you push those fears and those feelings and that level of depression way down, and you don't want nobody knowing that you're suffering. So you don't talk about it to the people in your life. You don't talk about it to your spouse or your significant other, your partner. You don't talk about it to your friends. You don't talk about it to your neighbors. You don't talk about it to the people at church. You want people to think you're okay, but inside you're dying. You're screaming for help, and you're fighting back the tears at night going to bed. And let me tell you, you guys, I've been there. But I also want to give you some hope. You can cope and maintain your mental illness. Okay. Now, mental illness is on a very broad, scale. So whatever that looks like in your life, saying the word mental illness is not a bad thing. It's actually a really big, let me pick the right word. Saying mental illness, that you suffer from mental illness, is liberating. That's a really great word for it. It is. Because when you finally become honest with yourself, you free yourself of that pressure to be perfect. Now, I have suffered from OCD, and ADHD since I was 7 years old, and anxiety. So those 3 things I suffered from. Well, no, depression. So, okay, 4 things. I'm sorry. I suffered from OCD, ADHD, anxiety, and depression since the age of 7 years old. And you guys can go back and watch my videos of how I discovered it and so forth. But I have learned in the last 15 years, even with big, dramatic, life-changing events in the last 15 years, I have learned how to cope and maintain my mental illness so I can function in this world and still be a wonderful, human being that has kindness and humbleness, and she's not bitter. Because bitterness is the worst side effect to suffering from those illnesses, okay? When you're bitter about it and you're not doing what you need to do to solve the problems, and you're pushing those down deep, the anger is going to come out. The violence is going to come out, okay? So let me give you guys some tips on how to channel that anger that could possibly lead to violence, okay? So, and I'm talking about, there's all levels of violence. I'm not saying you're going to go out and shoot up a school. I'm not saying that. But the kids that are shooting up the schools, they didn't get the help they needed, okay? Because our country is not built on a Congress that, and I will say, and this is just my opinion, because I'm not Democrat and I'm not Republican, but I do see the pros and cons on each side, okay? Like for instance, well, let me just get back because I'm getting off track. I'm sorry. And you will see me vape in a lot of my videos just because I am a recovering alcoholic. So I am going on 4 years and 9 months. And so I do vape because I don't drink alcohol. So getting back to that, I lost my train of thought. And this happens. This is why it's so hard to, would even be super hard to edit because of that. Okay, so the topic is how to channel your anger, your anxiety from your past traumas and past childhood traumas. The first thing that I recommend is meditation. And everybody has time for it. So if you say to me, Sunshine, I ain't got time for meditation. Yes, you do. And I'll tell you when. Disciplining yourself to wake up early before everybody in the house gets up. Okay? Except for that dog. That dog will get up with you. I'm speaking the truth, I know. That dog will get up with you and be like, "Oh, you're getting up at 5 in the morning? Okay, well, I'm gonna want to go out to the bathroom. Then you're gonna have to feed me." So once you get your dog lined up, you good to go. You get back into your quiet space, whether that is your bedroom, your bathroom, the living room, the sunroom, outside, whatever. You can do it anywhere, okay? Meditation is however that looks like to you. It could be prayer, okay? It could be listening to meditation, inspirational quotes on YouTube. It could be listening to the sounds of nature, meditational music, connecting with your chakras in your body. I talk about that a lot just because I'm a medical massage therapist, so I truly believe that we in our body, we can connect with our chakras and the universe. and how we can change our whole thought process if we really truly want to connect and have better thinking. Okay. So meditation early in the morning, just make it to where it's non-negotiable in your life. If you can do anything, do 20 minutes every morning of meditation. Meditation is so good about helping your nerves all together. The anxiety goes down when you meditate. You get into a very relaxed mode, your happy place. Then your imagination can start going into that very safe space. Okay. Then before you start your day, the reason why I say before you start your day, because life happens, y'all. It's busy, it's fast paced. And you got everything from work, kids, the house, the bills, the money, all of that can stress you out to the point where it's like, I got to write it all down just to get it all done. But if you can get yourself in that spot where you can devote that 20 minutes, okay, of real quiet time and meditate. And like I said, y'all, you pick what your meditation is, your quiet time. It could be prayer. It could be actual meditation. It could be, like I said, listening to music. So once you do that, your mind stops being foggy. You have a clear mind where your conscious and your subconscious starts balancing. Okay. So as these negative thoughts come into your mind, you can stop them. And when I say stop them, I mean, you feel a negative thought and you speak to it. So that's part of manifestation. You're speaking to what you want to already exist in your life. And so when you talk to these bad thoughts, you're saying, not today. No, I will not think like that. I'm going to think the opposite. I can achieve. I can get up every single morning and give myself 20 minutes of meditation for my mental health. And it is free. Free, free, free. All the tips and all the advice that I'm giving you guys, it doesn't cost money. Now, when I tell you to go to therapy, that's something that you look into if you have the insurance or if you have the money to do. But if you don't have the money to go to therapy, I'm telling you, there are resources in your communities, in your state, that have the resources where you can do group therapy. People that suffer from the same illnesses that you suffer from do group therapy 2 or 3 times a week. And even if you can't, even if you live in a rural area and you can't find that group therapy, go to AA. And I'll tell you why. Because you will listen to people who are struggling with their mental illness and addiction. And with mental illness, almost always comes some form of addiction. Mine was alcohol. So, getting back to that, you guys, the one thing that has worked for me over and over, non-negotiable, is getting up every single morning before my day starts and meditating. Even if I stay up all night, let's say I'm staying up all night and I'm doing a TikTok live, whatever. When I get off, I still meditate. I don't waste a day without meditating. You might ask me, well, Sunshine, I may forget. Is that going to make my day worse, or am I only going to feel good on the days I meditate? I honestly believe if you get into the habit of meditating every day and you may miss one morning, you're still going to be all right. Okay. Sunshine probably guarantees that you're still going to be all right. Okay. But there's nothing like meditating that makes you feel like you can conquer that day and those challenges. Okay. Another thing that you can do to channel the anger and the anxiety is workout. Now, you could be at any different level of fitness, okay? You can be at the maximum level or you can be at the minimum level, okay? Sometimes I don't feel like going to the gym. Sometimes I just feel like working out at home and doing some Pilates and some weightlifting. And, and then of course I take Emmy for a walk every morning. And sometimes I feel like, well, I got enough exercise, I'm good. Some form of exercise every single day is going to help with your overall mental health. It's just been proven time and time again, okay? Don't take my word for it. Google it. It's been proven, okay? So exercise, okay? Another thing that is going to help is hydrating yourself. So keeping yourself hydrated all throughout the day. I have my straw glasses, y'all. There's so many cute little glasses. And this is my vitamin collagen that I put in my water, and it's a mango flavor. Super good. I love it. But I like it because I'm taking care of my skin, my nails, my hair, my collagen, the lifting of my skin as I age. I'm a Caucasian woman, and our race ages the fastest when it comes to being a woman. Our skin changes and ages much more rapidly than other races. Okay. So being Caucasian, I know that, and I'm, in mid 40s. And so I really pay attention to my skin, and I know I don't look it, but I am 45, and I've been doing, collagen supplements for a good hot minute, like 10 years now. And yeah, I do, and I have expressed this before, I have gotten Botox. I'm not quite ready to do any kind of fillers in my cheeks, but eventually I will, because I like to look good. I like my appearance to look good. And that goes back to having OCD. My appearance to look good. I've been a professional for 25 years. I'm in a industry that promotes health and beauty, so I like to look my best. Okay. So those three things so far: we got meditation, we got exercise, and we got water to hydrate. So you guys should be drinking 1 gallon to 1.5 gallons of water a day. Try the collagen, flavor. If you can't do plain water and you just can't stand water, whatever, get yourself some collagen water, whether you're a man or a woman. It's good to drink, and it's flavorful, and it has no the GMOs. It's vegan. It has no chemicals. What I don't recommend you do is drink flavored water, like, I'm not going to mention a name because I don't want to get sued. Don't drink flavored water. Don't drink flavored drops. The reason why, it's got too many chemicals, and those chemicals cause dementia and Alzheimer's. So like the little drops that you see, in the grocery store, whether it's the grocery store brand or a different brand, but it's all different levels of drops or energy drops or whatever, don't put that chemical in your body. It will give you Alzheimer's and dementia, and it is terrible. And it eats away your digestive system, and it's been proven. So you really got to do your research, okay? That's why you got to find vitamin supplements that are pure, that are natural, have no MSG, have no chemical compounds that they throw in there to make it flavorful, but that throw in chemical that they put in there, it causes everything from Alzheimer's, dementia, brain tumors, blindness, rectal cancer, colon cancer, just stomach cancer, digestive problems, IBS. There's so many bad things that those type of chemicals can do. And our country, produces mass amount of, and they throw it in the health and diet, industries. They said, "Oh, do this and you'll lose weight and no, you're never going to lose weight by drinking chemicals in your water. You're just not. You're not going to lose weight that way. You're not going to get healthy. All you're doing is putting toxics in your body that's going to prevent weight loss. It's going to prevent you to lose weight. It's going to prevent your hormones, to be off whack, out of balance, all like that. It's going to give you brain fog, and brain fog leads to Alzheimer's and dementia, Alzheimer's, whichever comes first. I'm no expert. I just know that it's happened. My mother, she was a big Diet Coke drinker. Okay. Diet soda. Okay. Aspartame. There's several other chemicals in there, but I'm just thinking off the top of my head, aspartame. And then she would do like Equal or Sweet and Low or some of those ones, and Splenda and all of that, right? Aspartame. Well, she got dementia, and she got dementia plus type 2 diabetes before she died. And she died of a stroke. And it was her third stroke. No, wait. Yeah, third stroke. And she died in her sleep. Right to her brain. And to me, I thought she was young. Her grandmother outlived her. That should tell you something right there about the way our country mass produces chemicals and says this is healthy, or, but I'm just talking about one product with putting chemicals in your water. Just don't do it, and there's water companies that won't change their formula of how they filter their water. I personally, I filter my water just with a Brita pitcher, and I fill it up with a big jug, and then I pour it into a cup, put my collagen vitamins in there, and I'm good to go. But, you do what's best. But I will tell you, it's a huge scam. Everything in the health industry is like a bazillion-dollar industry, and they're telling you, oh, use this, or put this supplement in instead of pure sugar. Well, no. If you can get away with not doing sugar at all, great. But if you need sugar, do raw sugar, do raw honey. That's the best thing you can do. If you need something sweet to top it off, raw honey, raw sugar. It is not going to kill you if you do it in moderation. Okay. And it doesn't have any chemicals in it. Our grandparents, if you're Generation X like me, I'm just talking about my generation because I was born in the 70s. My generation, my grandparents, my great grandparents, I'm sorry, let me scratch that. My great grandparents lived longer than my own parents. That should tell you what it used to be 100 years ago compared to what we are putting in our bodies now. Because my Granny Brown, she lived to be, 102, and she lived off the land. She gardened her own vegetables. She put cow manure in her fertilizer. She had cows. She had pigs, and she grain fed all of her cows and all of her pigs. And she lived to be, 102. And, that's a long time. That's a long time. But her daughter, which was my grandmother, got dementia and Alzheimer's and had to be put in a home by the time she was in her 60s. And then my mother had to be put in a home by the time she was in her early 70s. And then she died at, I guess, she died at 73, 74. Can't remember. She died at 73 or 74. But it was what she was putting in her body that made her lose track of her health. She formed diabetes in her 40s, didn't do a damn thing about it, was in denial, And in the end, they had to force, her injections twice a day. So like the nurse had to give her injections because she wouldn't give them to herself. She was 150 pounds overweight and she didn't care about her health. She ate like crap. Did not care. Didn't care to preserve her life. I care. I care to preserve my life. My life is important to me, my children and my grandchildren, my family, my siblings, my cousins, my friends, my clients, my patients. This world needs me. So I'm going to do whatever it takes to preserve my life. Now, I know this vape ain't good for me. I get it. Part of addictions. It's not easy, I try not to vape. If I'm on the go, I usually don't even bring it with me. Especially if I know that I can't walk into a store and vape, or I can't go to a restaurant, meet with friends and vape, or I can't go to work and vape. I can't do none of that. So I usually just don't bring it. But when I'm sitting here and I'm making a video and stuff like that, it's a habit that's hard. It's very hard to break. It's very hard to break. This is showing how imperfect I am. Okay. But everybody has opinions. It's certainly not killing me like alcohol would have. But that's just my, genes. A lot of alcohol killed people in my family very, very young. I lost a lot of aunts and uncles from alcoholism on my daddy's side. And they barely hit 60 and they were already dead. So, but, You may think I'm a hypocrite, for talking about health and talking about how to purify your water. And here I am, vaping, but I suffer from mental illness. It helps with my anxiety. Am I going to give it up? Of course. But I'm also showing you my vulnerability and showing you that I do make mistakes. I'm not an influence on here trying to act like I'm perfect and I know what the heck I'm doing and I know what I'm saying is truthful. No, I'm being vulnerable. I'm a human being. I'm not perfect by any means. I ain't ever going to claim perfection. Now, I suffer from OCD and ADHD, and let me just get into those two diagnoses. So my OCD came first, and it's where my mother used to yell at us when we were kids. She expected us at a very, very young age to clean the entire house while she was at, my parents were at work, and to, make my own meals. And the house had to look perfect. Or she would yell at us. And the only thing I wanted from my mother when I was a little girl at the age of, 6 and 7 years old is I wanted her attention, but I wanted the happy attention from her. I didn't want that attention of her yelling at me and her being angry and taking her anger out on me. But she had her own mental illness. She suffered from mental illness that never got solved. She was a procrastinator. She was not a doer. And she had major, major ADHD. Both my parents did. And, but she wasn't one that succeeded professionally in life. She lived off of other people's success. Very lazy mentality. And she suffered from schizophrenia. And when you suffer from that and you put a lot of weight on, you eventually get type 2 diabetes, and you're just in denial that you have anything wrong with you because you put on, this show of, I'm this nice, good person, but you treat your kids like shit. I mean, that was my mother. And it's funny because she comes from a big family, and they all individually had their ups and downs, of course, but she never followed through on anything in her life, especially motherhood. She wasn't the type of mom that if you got in trouble, she would come get you and listen to you. She wasn't the type of mom that would bail you out of jail. She wasn't the type of mom who would go to bat for you when you know that the other person was wrong for firing you at a job. She wasn't that mom at all. None of those things. She was the type of mom who would come home, take her anger out on you because she had a shitty day, and all she could do is pick on the things you didn't do right, like clean her entire house when you're 7 years old because you're the girl. That's who she was. And yes, I'm glad I survived my childhood. And yes, I'm glad I got it right with therapy. And yes, I'm glad that a lot of that I took control, and I did not treat my children the way my mother treated me and my siblings. I can't speak for my siblings. I can only speak for me. But then I had this incredible parent on the other hand. Now, he may have fought with her, and, you know, they were like two enemies. I remember as kids, we all were just like, when are they going to fucking get a divorce? They need to hurry up and get a damn divorce. My parents were posers. As in the sense of they would fight with each other. And sometimes it got crazy. My mother, she was the violent one out of them two. She was the violent one. She didn't know how to channel her anger. So she would hit my dad. She would throw things. She would break things. She used to do it to us. Anything would trigger her temper. You know, different genres, you know, different times of, you know, this country, they would blame an angry person on like stupid shit. Like, oh, she's a redhead. Of course she's going to have a temper. Well, she's also got mental problems that she's never dealt with and she hasn't even recognized. And even in the end, what's so crazy, even after the forgiveness and the come to Jesus, you know, talks that we had, even in the end, this woman should be wiser than me, okay? You would think someone who's 30 years older than me would be wiser than me and give me good advice. Even in the end, she was immature, lazy, and was not wise. I mean, she thought her shit didn't stink. And I specifically tried to get her to recognize that she had mental illness. And she was like, I don't have mental illness. There's nothing wrong with me. And all the signs are pointing to that. So whenever you don't deal with the awareness and dive into that past and dive into the problems and maintain and learn how to cope and live with, because mental illness will never go away. It's just a matter of how are you going to handle it? How are you going to help your thought process handle it? Is your reaction going to be negative or is it going to be positive? You know? And, you know, she really was a poser when it came to being a quote unquote Christian. And this is why I struggle with Christianity. I love my Jesus all day long. Love Jesus. Love God. But there is too many posers in Christianity. And it's really hard to believe anybody that says, oh, well, I'm a Christian. So that doesn't make you better than me, but they sure act like they're better than you. Especially if it depends on like if you, I mean, like I've talked about this in my other videos, you know, it was an era in the 80s where that radical church They called it holy rollers and, full gospel. And they had like 15 different names for it. And then by the time I got up to like junior high, they called it non-denomination. Oh, well, if you're not going to a non-denomination church, then you're not believing in every part of the Bible. I love it how, preachers, they put like it's their way and that's the only way that you can, be or have a relationship with God, with Jesus. I believe differently. Because when I was in college, I started going to a Baptist church. And let me tell you, I preferred it in a sense of they weren't speaking in tongues and doing crazy shit and scaring the living bejesus out of you when you were a kid. People falling in the spirit. Oh, I'm going to fall in the spirit. It's just a show. It's all it is, a show. And I'm so glad that nowadays the non-denominational churches are getting away from that radical, stupid shit. That's my opinion. But it's stupid. Be normal. Be calm. I shouldn't say normal, but be calm in church. You can give a good message without getting radical. Oh, I'm moved by the Spirit. What I want to say is, why don't you take your spirit butt and sit down? And that's a nice version of me saying it without cursing in church. I didn't say watching my videos is going to be easy or it's going to be, PG, because it's not. I specifically put my videos on where this is not made for children to watch. If you're an adult, yeah, you understand. But if you're a child, you're not going to understand. But if you're a parent, then a lot of this you can teach your children. But that's in your own home, your own privacy, your own way of doing it. I'm not telling you how to be a parent in your own home. That's ludicrous. I refuse to do. I wouldn't want someone telling me how to be a parent. So, getting back to the other parent. The other parent was my daddy. Sweet, kind, humble. Give the shirt off his back. Worked day and night, every weekend, mowing lawns, making income. He was a follower, and that's why I call him also a poser when it comes to being a Christian, because he did what he wanted to, but then when he was in church, he put on that mask. I mean, I saw my parents. It was crazy because it's like they were yelling at us in the car on the way to church, cussing and yelling and being angry. And this is more my mother. And then they get in church. Yeah. You know how this is going to end. They get in church and they're like, oh, praise the Lord. I just got the big blessing this week, blah, blah, blah. How are y'all doing? Oh, Sister Jenny, and they'd be like, oh, Sister Jenny, how are you today? And she'd be like, fake as fuck. And here I am as a kid thinking, you're such a hypocrite. You punish us for lying, and you're lying. You're lying to all these people at church, It was sick. It's a sick psychological. And then, now I got spanked as a kid, don't get me wrong. And I believe in spanking, when you're young. And, that discipline, I do believe in spanking. It's my own personal reason to believe in spanking because honestly, I feel like because I went through that, I knew how to discipline my children a whole lot better. So I didn't have to spank them very much when they were little, but they got spankings, but they were little. It's not like they were teenagers, No, I take that back. I think I did spank one of my boys when they were a teenager and, but normally I would just give them the look like, and that usually set them straight. But my daddy, my brothers might have had a different opinion about him because he was harder on them than he was me. But he was good to me. He would make time for me at the end of his busy day. He discovered that I was good at massage therapy when I was like 9 years old. And I had no idea that I had that gift. But my dad used to have this bathtub, this little foot bathtub, because he'd be on his feet, mowing lawns, walking neighborhoods, all this. And so he would come home and he would put, Epsom salt in it with hot water or lukewarm water or something. And he would soak his feet. And then, I'd sneak in because everybody else would be asleep, because sometimes he didn't come in until, real late at night. And I'd sneak in and I would rub his feet and I'd massage his feet, and I would get, whatever oil or lotion or whatever, and I'd rub his feet. And he said, "Oh, my sunshine, you have the gift. You have a gift of massage." And I never knew that him speaking and manifesting over me as a parent would be one of my biggest achievements as an adult with my career. So thank you, Daddy, for that. I do thank him still to this day. And I do believe that, I do believe that my parents are in heaven because I do believe in heaven and hell. And I do believe my parents are in heaven. Now, they ain't going to be in the same room together. Or, I don't know, I heard that there is not anger in heaven, so maybe they will. But I do believe, especially my dad, he was not only, saved probably over and over, had his salvation, but he was also a really good person. He became a better person after him and my mom divorced. He became a much better person. Because, see, he took out that toxic relationship. He walked away from that toxic relationship and he said, enough is enough. I can't let her keep doing this to me and our children. But back then, I was very angry by the time they got a divorce. I was 15 and I was the last kid in the house. And I had to go through it over and over again. So from the age about, I want to say about 13 to 18, we had the same house, the same piece of land, the same property. And they would go back and forth with each other. He'd forgive her, whatever, and they would get back together for a month or two, and then they break up again, and then they would get back together for a month or two. So from like the age of 15, no, I want to say the age of 13. So the age of 13 to 15, my young teenage years, middle school of all things, my parents were going back and forth with each other like it was a fucking game. And they played each other. They played with the emotions, and they didn't realize that they were fucking up their children, especially me, because they kept going back and forth with each other, and they were toxic for each other. It took many years of therapy to forgive that. Because forgiveness is for you. It's not for them. And I didn't go publicly to her and say, you know what? I forgive you. No, I just did it my own way. You don't have to do all that. But I had no respect for her. You can forgive somebody for hurting you for years on end, different stages in your life. Doesn't mean you have to like them or have respect for them. You have to earn respect. It's funny how our parents wanted us to respect them and, oh, you got to listen to us. You got to respect us. We're your parents. Well, then fucking act like it. And don't go back and forth with each other when you're fucking toxic. You need to divorce and you need to stop talking to each other. And you need to just concentrate on your fucking kids. I'm not perfect. As you can see, I still have anger issues. Still got the anger. Just channel it. Try to channel it, I have struggled for 21 years. I haven't been a wife in 21 years. Each boyfriend that I had, I'm not saying there was a lot, but because I had a lot of long relationships. But the relationships in my past that I've had, they never even came close to making the cut to be a husband. And the guy that I chose to let be a husband, I chose that for the wrong reasons. I already had one kid, and then I got pregnant, had two more, so I felt obligated, like I had to get married. And then it ended. So raising children as a single parent, no help, no dad, no spouse, challenging, especially when you suffer from mental illness and it was the mother who messed you up. Now, I'm not going to sit here and lie to y'all and say that I didn't mess up my kids with some of my own generational curses that came upon me in my 20s that I never dealt with, because I did. There was about 6 years in there that my struggle was real. My struggle was real, and I wasn't the perfect parent. But I got help, and you can get help too. You know, I have a ex-boyfriend. He used to say, "You complain too much about your past. Be glad you at least had one parent that gave a fuck about you, because I didn't have any parent that gave a fuck about me." But look at me now. I'm striving to be everything my parents weren't to my kids. And I said, "Really? You're striving to be everything you are as a parent to your kids. So you're saying you're a great father, but yet you haven't even tapped into fixing your mental illness, and you call yourself a great father? Oh, no, no. Hate to burst your bubble, but you're not. And you have a temper, and you take your problems and your stresses and your past out on your children all the time. And whenever they get emotional around you, you tell them to shut up and quit crying." So no, you ain't no father of the year. Your generational curse from your childhood mental trauma never got worked through. So therefore, it made you so bitter and angry, and you go silent, and you don't know how to channel all that, but you want to take credit for, you know, being there for your kids and being present. But it's more than just that. It's more than just that. If you don't, I'll tell you guys this, as a parent, the best thing you can do for your kids is to be a good influence. And I've said that before in my videos. By being a good influence, that means getting help for your own mental illness and communicating with your kids. So when you're having a rough day, you're openly communicating with them, showing them the chain of communication. So you're saying, "Hey, you know what? I want to be present for what you're about to tell me and talk about. I'm just having a really, really bad day. I'm struggling. And if you just give me a little bit of time, I'll come back and I'll be present and I'll be what you need me to be." But if you're not openly admitting that to your kids, and you're just shutting yourself down silently, and you think, "I can't tell my kids." Yes, you can. Because what's going to happen, and I've talked about this in my other video, what is going to happen is when you shut down and you shut off your kids when they ask you, "What's wrong, mommy? What's wrong, daddy?" Their curious little minds remember every single thing you say. And when you say, "Oh, don't bother me right now, I'm fine," all you're doing is putting a huge, huge barrier between the two of you. So by the time they are up in age and they're 13, 14, and they're coming home from school and they go straight to their rooms and play video games, and you haven't seen them all night and they haven't come down for dinner or whatever it is, and you say, "What's wrong?" and they say, "Oh, nothing, I'm fine." They picked it up from you. They saw your bad behaviors and they thought that that's their normalcy. that that's normal. Well, if mom and dad are acting like this, it must be normal. You are their greatest role model. You are present every single day in their life. Be a good role model. Admit that you're struggling. Admit that you need help. Admit that you aren't 100% present at the moment. You'd be so surprised. Kids are resilient. They're caring. They're loving. And they love you no matter what. Trust me, I know. I have 3 grown children who've all turned out to be amazing, wonderful human beings. And even in my mistakes as a parent, they turned out amazing, successful, wonderful, caring, loving, kind. Do they have problems? Sure. But we've gone to counseling as adults, all of us together equally. And it's been a huge, huge help. Because, you go through different stages of your relationship with your children. You guys might be in the early stages. You guys might be in the middle stages when they're teenagers. You guys might be like me when you're an empty nester and they're grown and you have a different type of relationship where they don't need you as much. That's why you occupy yourself and get you a good dog. Because when you're a mom, especially when you're a mom, and you have a natural nature of being a nurturer, you want to take care of somebody every single day. So it's good to have a dog. If you don't have personally, I would much rather have my dog than a husband. I'm just saying. But that's just me personally, So anyways, but man, it's been good sharing today with you guys. I'm so glad that y'all tuned in to watch this video. And yes, it's long. Yes, Sunshine don't edit no videos. What's wrong with her? Then just watch half if you don't want to watch all of it. Watch the other half tomorrow. But please subscribe to me. Okay? It helps. It helps me a lot if you subscribe. And look, no glare. It's good to have a tripod with a good light, even though the cover popped off. Almost cost me my video. All right, well, I'm going to sign out. But I wanted to tell you guys, make those things in your life non-negotiable. Meditate. Exercise. Drink water. Okay? Doing those little things helps your mental health greatly. And be sure to tune in to more videos. And I hope that I can just reach one person, because that's what I'm here for. I'm here to listen. You can always put a comment down in my box and shoot a comment. Shoot your email, and I'll email you. I don't care where you're at in the country. I'm a very humble human being. I have no problem helping somebody. Okay? You need help with resources, to find resources for free therapy in your area. I can help with that. I'm not asking anything. I'm just asking you guys to follow me, like my videos, and subscribe. It doesn't even cost you to subscribe. You can always go on TikTok, SUNSHINE-ANDIE, RG. That's my TikTok name. And you can watch my videos there. And you can go live with me. And I'll be doing different live shows. But this platform is mainly for mental health, mental illness, awareness. This is my platform to be an advocate, to talk about mental illness. My TikTok is a little different. So anyways, but You guys, please help me get my subscriptions up on YouTube so I can do live feeds on my phone, and I can do more content, and I can get more things out that I really want to talk about. So remember, it's my passion, it's my calling to help you discover and give you some tools and tips that was given to me about maintaining and coping with your mental illness. Okay? I'm signing out. Y'all have a wonderful night. Sunshine, giving all her love to her sugar bitches. All my sugar bitches out there giving my love. Okay? Subscribe, follow, like down at the bottom. Thanks again. Bye for now, y'all.